It's a pleasure to have you here. The details now. Several communities in the Tamale Metro and Sanarugu municipality have been flooded following heavy rainfall in the capital Tamale on Sunday. Many roads were flooded, causing heavy traffic in some of these areas. The communities flooded include Sawaba, Taha, Gumani, Waterworks, Nyohini, Sanarugu, Kukuo, and among others. The heavy rains started at about 2 p.m. Sunday and continued throughout the evening. The Sanarugu Kukuo Dam overflowed its bank, flooding several communities. Some residents who spoke to Joy News blamed the situation on the poor construction of drains in the area.
We lost our documents a lot. When you enter the room, everything is spoiled. Everything is spoiled. You can see what we are doing. Today, as of now, we don't know where we are going to sleep. All our things are spoiled. Our documents, everything is spoiled. And now we don't know what to do. The government has to come to our aid to give us a help. The gutter over there is the main cause of what had happened. We just came in here. We are not yet up to 2 months in this house. We came and rented, and this is what had happened. So we don't know what to do. My husband has gone for a funeral, and we are the only one. I was even sleeping. Then they told one of the children woke me up. When I came out, it was like that.
It's a very bad situation, very, very bad feeling. We've lost all our properties, our fridges, our documents. But what happens is that we have a very short gutter that is supposed to start from our house, continue from our house to the main road, and it has been truncated from our house. So when the water comes, it flows directly from the road into our homes. Instead of it flowing into the gutter, there is no gutter because the gutter has not been constructed. It ended at a house just closer to ours. So that is why we are in this situation. And so we don't even know what to do now.
Martina Bugri is our correspondent in that region. Martina, the residents appear helpless. They called on support from government. Did that come?
No, as at yesterday in the night, support had not come yet. What had happened, it was an unexpected thing, and so what they wanted immediately was shelter to sleep. And there was no ready shelter, so most people had to relocate. If you have friends or relations who are outside the areas that were flooded, then you can go and seek shelter there and camp. But fortunately this morning, most of the water is gone, and people are beginning to clean their homes and take what they can salvage from what happened yesterday. I spoke to Nadmo yesterday in the night, and they said they were in the community still assessing the situation, and then they will get back to us, but they are yet to give us any update on what they have done.
Martina, in the previous month or so, we've been talking about floods in the northern part of the country. Some of the hard-hit areas are the northeast and Savannah regions. We also reported of floods in the northern region at some point. Tell us what the situation is usually around this time of the year, because what we keep hearing is this is not normal, and residents are in a state of shock.
Yes, normally what happens is there are some areas which are prone to flooding, and so when you hear those areas are flooded, you are not surprised because that is something that it usually happens. But there are some areas that you have never seen those areas flood, and so when you find those areas flooding, you would say it's not normal. Now, even those communities that would normally flood, you would have the water almost in their homes, but not to take over the whole entire community. Maybe 1 or 2 houses may be affected in the past. But for this year, when the floods came, they took over communities and not just homes. And so you can have several communities swept off, several communities flooded. And that's why people are describing it as unusual.
Is it usual to have flooding at this time of the year in the northern region?
No, not at all. That normally the peak is always August, September, and then October. You start feeling the Hamatan comes in, and so by this time we should have been experiencing a bit of Hamatan going into late October. And so people are really surprised that until now we are still having very heavy rains coming in.
Talking about the heavy rains, what's the weather like this morning? It's quite cloudy here in Accra.
It was cloudy earlier on in the morning, and then the sun came out a bit, but the clouds are beginning to gather again, and so we don't know. It might fall again.
And quickly, as we wrap up this conversation, Martina, we understand that this was also caused by a dam overflowing its banks. What really caused that? Does the Bagri Dam spillage have anything at all to do with this flood?
No, these are dams in the communities that were constructed. For the Sameru Dam, it's a dam in Sameru, and so that one overflowed and came through Kunyabila and Nyoni, those areas. Now, this other one, and the gentleman talked of, is the dam that broke its bank several years ago.
Okay.
They constructed a drain, and so the drain was supposed to join a bigger drain, but that didn't happen. It was truncated, and so anytime the rain comes, the water from that old dam sweeps into those communities on that stretch.
Martina, have you gotten the local government authority, MC, anybody tell you why the drain hasn't been completed?
We are yet to get information from any of those sources.
Martina Bugri is a correspondent in the northern region. Let's head to the northeast region now. Elias Atanko is there for us. The devastation there, as we reported last week, was terrible. A 3-year-old losing his life as a result. But Elias, what's the situation now? Has the flood water receded?
Yes, the flood has receded, at least in communities that was hit. That was on Thursday morning. As I speak, I'm just returning from one of the communities, and I'm currently at Gagbini, which is another community that's hit by this particular disaster. And the water entirely has receded. And I can see a lot of residents trying to salvage their properties. Trying to fix the broken zincs and to raise blocks and try and see if they will be able to salvage some their properties. And so people are currently busy in this particular community trying to rebuild.
All right. Ilyasu, in the Mamprusi, West Mamprusi district to be precise, we saw homes that fell flat as a result of the flooding. What's happening in regards to the rebuilding of homes and the help that NADMO is offering?
Exactly what I'm saying. I mean, people have moved in trying to rebuild their home from Banawa to Gabini to Dimia. The community is full of activity now.
Okay.
People are trying to rebuild their home. But there's a situation here. I mean, these people that were moved to camps in school and public centers. Unfortunately, this morning, the people are moving back to occupy MH homes. I spoke to a woman at Dimia, and in the Dimia community, about 15 of them were sent to a newly constructed school. And this morning, all of them have left the school there, and they have gone back. This woman met this morning is a mother of twin babies, and she has moved back to her damage. In fact, when I checked that particular room, it's almost gone. But she said she's hungry. I mean, there's no food for them to eat, and so have left the camp because they are hungry. And she also told me that the relief support they gave them, she didn't get the mosquito net, the blanket, and so life is really difficult for her in the camp there. So this morning, every morning since Saturday, she moves from the camp, gets to and prepare something to eat. Sometimes when the weather is favorable, she sleeps in the damaged room. When it's not, then she will move back to the school. She said yesterday she slept in this particular damaged room because the condition at the camp there is not favorable. She actually told me that gave gave her.
Elias, so sorry, we are losing you there. That's a story of a woman that Elias was sharing there.
So she actually told me that authorities, the minister is okay.
It's much better now.
Yeah, so she actually told me that authorities gave a bag of rice, in fact, small of rice on the day the incident happened. It's finished, and since she's responded, so they're hungry, they would not be able to sit in this camp, and that is why they have moved back to dwell in this damaged home.
Right. Thank you very much, Elias Tanko. They're giving us updates on floods in the northeast region. You just heard him share the story of a woman who says she hasn't received relief items, only got a bag of rice on the first day. And that's why here at the multimedia group, hashtag Up to Us is our campaign to support our brothers and sisters in the north. If you have any food items, mosquito nets, bed sheets, mattresses, kindly bring them to our offices here at Kokomlemle, and we'll gladly distribute them to persons in need.